Hey everyone, let's talk about something we see every single day, a price. We see it on our coffee, on a movie ticket, on a house. The word practically runs our world. But have you ever really truly stopped to think about what that word, what that number on a tag actually means?
Now seriously, when you see a price, what information is it really giving you? Is it a command? A suggestion? Is it telling you what that thing is actually worth? Well, the answer to that actually gets at a huge truth about how our economy really ticks.
To get this right, we're not just going to guess. We're going straight to the source, the official definition used by professional valuers all over the world. Now, I know it might look a little dry, but trust me, every single word in here is packed with meaning, and we're going to unpack it together. All right, let's really get into this. We're going to break this definition down piece by piece and see what it's truly telling us.
So, first up, let's zero in on the verbs. The definition says a price is something that is asked, offered, or paid. And that's our first big clue right there. It tells us that a price isn't just some static, lonely number. It's actually part of a living, breathing process.
So yeah, don't think of it as just one number, but more like three totally different stages in any transaction. Each one of these tells a different part of the story. So let's start with asked. The asking price, that's the seller's opening shot. It's the number they put on the tag, the list price for a car. It's basically the starting point, an invitation to have a conversation. It's what the seller hopes to get.
Next up, we've got offered. This is the buyer's turn to talk. It's the counter proposal. When you make an offer on a house or you haggle at a market, you're creating the offered price. It's what the buyer is willing to pay.
And then you've got the big one, paid. This is the only price that really matters in the end, because it represents a done deal. It's a historical fact. See, the asking and offered prices, they're just possibilities, just ideas floating around. The paid price, that's the one that actually happened. That's reality.
Okay, so a price is an action, but what is it acting on? Well, the definition gives us two answers. A price is paid for an asset or to transfer a liability. And this means we pay for two very different reasons. Yeah, so on one hand, you can pay a price to get something you want. That's an asset. But on the other hand, and this is where it gets really interesting, you can pay a price to get rid of something you don't want, a liability. Now, paying for an asset, that's the one we're all super familiar with, right? An asset is just something that has value. It could be a simple product on a shelf, a huge purchase like a house, or even something like a share of stock. You pay the price, you get the thing, it's yours. Simple. But what about paying to transfer a liability? That's a bit of a head-scratcher at first. A liability is basically a responsibility, an obligation, or a debt. So imagine a company has a contract to do a job, but they can't anymore. They might actually pay another company to take that contract off their hands. They're literally paying a price to make a problem someone else's. Okay, so we've got the actions, asked, offered, paid, and we've got the subjects, assets, and liabilities. But honestly, the definition saves the absolute best part for last. It's just 5 simple words, but man, they change the whole game. Price and value may be different. Just let that sink in for a second. The highest authority on this stuff, the people who literally define this for a living, explicitly say that the price of something and the value of something are not always the same thing. In fact, they often aren't. And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole thing, the price-value question. Understanding this crucial difference is, I'm telling you, the key to making smarter financial decisions in pretty much every part of your life. So let's really put these two side by side. Price, that's objective. It's a historical fact of what was paid. It's a number, a data point. Done. Value, though, that's totally subjective. It's an opinion, an estimate of what something is truly worth. You know the old saying, price is what you pay, value is what you get. So if you take one thing away from this, it's this. A price is just a fact. It's a record of a transaction that happened between one buyer and one seller at one point in time. It is not, and it should never be confused with, a definitive statement about an item's real intrinsic worth. Which leaves us with one last thing for you to chew on. The next time you look at a price tag, remember this. The price is a fact. The value, well, that's up for debate. So you've got to ask yourself, what am I really paying for?